Hello everyone, I am Kunal Khadke. I have been working with Wolfram for more than 2 years in WTG department. I completed my bachelor's from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. Today in my presentation, I will be discussing about tools and best practices for notebook-based authoring. Let's get started. So in this talk we'll discuss about best practices for notebook based authoring, how we can modify our input cell, output cells, or any bullet point cells such as item cells or item number cells will, uh, in notebooks. So the purpose of this talk is to have the best practices to make sure that we make our notebook user friendly. We give our notebook a nicer appearance. We have a set of tools to make sure that if we are doing some things all over again, then we don't have to do those, and we have tools for those. So these notebook practices can be applicable to these points, as you can see: a presentation notebook, a book, or a Wolfram language based documentation notebook, etc. Let's get started with the text input and items type of cells. In Wolfram language, you can create certain cells type with the help of shortcuts such as Alt 3 for chapter, Alt 4 for section, and so on. So if I had to create any cell style, I'll just use the shortcut such as Alt 4 here in order to create a section. If I press Alt 5, it automatically converts to subsection cell, and Alt 6 to subsection cell. If I wanted to have a text cell, I can just do Alt 7. Not only using inbuilt shortcuts, you can create your own shortcuts. So in order to do that, what you should do is you should edit your style sheet and add menu command key. So what you have to do is you need to go to edit style sheet. So I'll just bring up the style sheet. So in this style sheet, I have already added a shortcut for item number cells. So if I hit Ctrl Shift T, I'll see the cell section, and you can see that I have added menu command key and I have added shortcut as N. So that way, if we go to edit style sheet, choose a particular cell style, we can reveal the expression with Ctrl Shift T, add any key, add and an option menu command key, assign a certain letter or a certain shortcut key in order to invoke that cell. So let me just show you the example for this. So if I hit an Alt 1, you will see that it adds a new item number cell. Similarly, we have added Alt I as an for item cell. You can see that with the with shortcut Alt I, you can create a new item cell. Whenever we are showing any text cell contents in notebooks, it is good to have a background color for search cell to make sure that we are highlighting main points towards our user. So in order to do that, we can do a set background for the cell. So if I set background, then you can see that my cell background for this is gray. Let us just change a particular setting and slightly modify the color. That way, so for that purpose, you can make use of insert memo cell resource function. So insert memo cell resource function can be useful to highlight points such as this. So I have some 4 principles for aesthetically pleasing appearance UI design. I have used insert memo cell to show those in my presentation notebook. if you have certain disclaimer or any warning towards the user, or if you want to make sure that user takes a note of certain points, you can use a disclaimer cell. It is always good to make sure that if you have certain expression, mathematical expression in the Wolf in the notebook, uh, you are using appropriate mathematical typesetting on those. So that you can do with by invoking control and left-sided rounded bracket in a text cell. So I'll just create some text cell. So as I type say equation and same thing, and after that what I will do is I'll just invoke the sorry and in this way my mathematical typesetting is invoked, and if I start typing the next expression in that typesetting, you would see that it is getting typeset. So here is an example how a typeset output would look after and before and after. Also, it is good practice to show certain expressions in the standard form rather than their Wolfram in the expression form. So what in order to do that, what we can do is we can convert those to standard form with the help of Control Shift N. So if I select this mathematical expression and I hit Control Shift N, you'll see that it is the cell is getting converted to standard form. The expression is getting converted to standard form. Similarly, you can convert the expressions into an output forms, traditional forms. And if you want to add some, if you want to add 2D site settings to the, you can make use of a basic math assistant palette. So you can go to palette and add a base and go to typesetting section to add certain expression. So I'll just show. So you can see that it has added a mathematical typesetting expression box in the cell. If you are showing certain types of outputs, and if you do not need to show any input code for the user, then it is always good to hide the input cells. So in order to do that, what you can do is you can keep the code into the initialization cell to make sure that the certain function definition is known to the kernel, and you can just evaluate the function in order to show the output during the presentation. So this is my output for this function, and here you can see that I have kept the code for this function into an input cell, into an initialization cell. An initialization cell can be invoked with can be made using a shortcut Control at. Also, if you don't want to keep any output inputs into the initialization cell, what you can do is you can always reverse close the cell group. So if I reverse close the cell group, you can see that my input cell is gone and only output is shown. You can always bring it back by double clicking on the the bigger cell group for those two cells. In order to make sure that a user is pointed to the certain parts of the code, it is always good to highlight the main parts of the code. So that we can do that with the highlighter palette. So highlighter palette is a resource function in which you can select a color and click on highlight to highlight a selected expression. The same thing can be done with by going into the format menu and selecting a background color. Let me just show you how we can do that. I can just go to the format menu. I can select a background color, say light brown, and you can see that my color for this background has changed. We can make use of iconize functionality in Wolfram language to hide irrelevant parts of the code, such as any styling or options or any irrelevant data that we don't want to show, and we are only focusing on the outputs. So to do that, what we can make use of iconize function. Iconize is a Wolfram language function, or we can simply select the expression, and after right clicking we can iconize the expression. The same thing can be done with by going into the edit menu and use iconize selection. Shortcut for this is Control Alt and key. We can also make use of iconizer palette, that is a resource function. When we are showing code in the presentation, it is always good to format the code. So here is an explanation. Here is an example of how an difference between an unformatted code and the formatted code. Here you can see that my formatted code is easily readable and easily understandable, while my unformatted code has only 3 lines, and it is difficult to understand which bracket ends where and all. Sometimes to give expression a better look, you can convert them into the standard form. So similarly, like we did earlier, we can just select the expression and hit Control Shift and to convert them into standard form. So here is a difference between two input form expression and standard form expression. You can see that standard form expression are easily understandable compared to input form expression. In order to show certain points in the notebook, we can make use of item cells. Here is an example how we can have certain item cells. We can customize this item cell, and we can change the dingbat for these item cells. In order to do that, we can use of option cell dingbat. So here is an example. If I modify my cell dingbat for this cell, this is how my item cell looks like. So you can directly modify this into the by adding this option into the style sheet. You can make assign other dingbats as well. The list for those can be found here. A certain symbols that can be assigned. A lot of symbols can be assigned as dingbat for the cells. We can also customize our item number cells in notebook. So let me just bring up a style sheet. In this style sheet, I have modified my item number cell. So let me just show. So I have assigned C as a shortcut for my item number cell. I have assigned a cell dingbat for this item number cell, and for the cell dingbat I am using a counter function, so that in order to give numbering for this as a dingbat. Let me just show. So as I hit Alt C, you can see that it creates a new dingbat, and I have make use of a counter function to assign the cell dingbat. Not only a Roman numeral function, you can create your own counter function. So here is an example how you can pass a character range as a list, and you can just uh, obtain a character depending upon your counter for that item number cell. So for example, 1 it would return A, for B it would return B, and so on. If you want to reset your numbering when you start a new subsection or subsection, you need to make sure you reset your counter assignment. So example, if I create a new section here, Alt 4, and I create a new item number cell, you would see that it is following the numbering from my previous section. So in to avoid that, what we can do is we can add our counter assignments to my style definition. So whenever my section is invoked, I would want I'd want my item number custom numbering to start from 0. So we can change this list to add item number custom cells to reset our numbering from 0. Similarly, for item numbers cells in Wolfram language, the numbering won't be reset if you add any text cell. So here as you can see that I have some item number cell with some item, and I have added a text cell, and after that I am continue my numbering, but my but my numbering is continuous 1 2 3 4 5 6. So in order to avoid that, we can set our counter assignments from that cell for that particular cell style. So here my cell style is item number. So for that particular cell style, we can reset the counter assignments. So anything below this, anything after my this cell would have my counter numbering start from scratch. So if as I create my new item, as I create my new item number cell, you would see that the numbering is reset. But anything before that, anything before that, you would see that my numbering is continuous. Now let's move ahead with the next section. So the next section is how we can format or manipulate or the cells in which we have our images or tables, how we can make sure that they are nice looking. So in order to do that, we can make use of manipulate formatting palette resource function. So manipulate formatting palette is a resource function that comes with this option. So with that, we can close certain cells in our notebook, we can hide certain cells, we can set show cell bracket for such cells, we can mark our cells to be deleted, and when we hit deploy in this palette, what it would do is it would create a copy of our presentation notebook with the marked cell removed. Similarly, we can unmark to make sure to make sure that they are not deleted, and then it also has certain options such as centrally aligning the outputs cells or hiding brackets and all, etc. So how we can format our input cell? So like we saw earlier, we can always reverse close our groups to hide our input cells. So as I click on my output cell, it would hide my input cell, and I can open the cell group by clicking on the entire cell group for the input output cells. Sometimes sometimes it is good to close cells so that user is not distracted. So we can set cell open to false for the input cells. So you'll see that as I evaluated this expression, my cell is closed, and but you would still see that there is a small bracket on the side. I can bring it up by setting my cell open to true. Manipulate formatting palette comes with these buttons. Let me just bring it up. So with this, what you can do is you can close all the cells, and if you want to open, you can just hit open all, so you don't have to set options directly. With close all, you can close a certain cell by just selection. You can also mark your cell not to close with the help of unmark to close button. Other than closing cell, you can hide your cell brackets as well. So to do that, we need to set cell bracket option false as well as cell open to false as well. So let me evaluate this expression. So as I evaluated this expression, my input cell is gone. I am not seeing cell bracket as well. To bring it back, I can just set this to true and show cell bracket to true. Similar to closed section, manipulate formatting palette has a hide section as well. So in hide section, you have the similar buttons such as hide cell, hide all, show all, and unmark to hide. Similar to the way to the closed section. If you have a self-contained manipulate, then you no longer need an input cell. So in such cases, you can delete your input cell as well. So what you can do is you can just delete the cell, but you have to make sure that the manipulate is self-contained. To make sure manipulate is self-contained, you can make use of this functionality, such as you can make use of dynamic module, you can make use of save definitions option, and an initialization option to make sure that your definitions are the relevant definitions are evaluated before the manipulate is shown. So similarly, deploy section in the manipulate formatting palette provides this functionality. So you can mark certain cells to be deleted when you are creating a deployable version of your notebook. You can unmark those. You can unmark those as well, and when you deploy, it will create a copy of your notebook with the marked cell deleted. When we are showing the manipulate or tables or images into the notebook, it is always good to format those to make sure that users focus is on the outputs and not the other content in the notebook, any other irrelevant content. So what to do that, what we can do is we can centrally align our cells. We can delete any cell labels if we have. We can deploy our cells so that if user selects, it doesn't if user selects the output, he doesn't see any he is not able to select any text or anything in the output. So here is a difference between how my output looks, how my manipulate output looks before formatting and after formatting. You can make use of output section in manipulate formatting palette as well. You can centrally align with the central align button. You can hide a bracket with the you can deploy the cell with align and hide bracket buttons. Manipulate formatting palette is available in function repository. Whenever we are inserting any large images into the notebook, what happens is that notebook size gets very large. So if we have a lot of images in the notebook, then it is difficult to distribute such notebook because they have very huge size. To overcome this, we can make use of a compress image function. So what compress image does is, um, here's a resource function compress image. What it will do is, it will take the image as an input and it would export the compressed string. So here is, you can see that it has exported an image string, and when we are showing, whenever the notebook is opened, then only it would decode that string and show it in the front end. So here is, you can see that it is importing my string and converting into an images, and we are using dynamic here. Note that dynamic only activates when it is shown. It doesn't whenever it is shown in the front end. So this way, what would happen is the image would be shown only when the notebook is open, and whenever the notebook is closed, the image will be stored in an encoded form. So here is an example of a notebook with an original image. This is the notebook with my original image. Here is the file size, that is about 5 MB. Here's a notebook with my compressed image. You can see that between these two notebooks, I could not see the difference between the images, but you can see that there is a lot of difference between the file sizes of these notebooks. So with original image it is 5 MB and the compressed image is only 300 KB. If you are showing any graphics into the notebooks, you can always convert those to bitmaps. So let me just show you an example. So here is my original graphics object. Here is my notebook with the graphics object converted to bitmap. To do this, what you can do is, you can go to cell, then you can convert the graph by selecting the graphics. You can go to cell, then you can go to convert to and convert it to bitmap. Let me just show you quickly. When we are showing any images into the notebook, it is always good to show the caption with the images, so that user know that what that image is related to. So with the help of journal journal article style sheet, you can add captions to the images. General style article style sheet has figure caption and figure cell styles. So here is an example. You can edit your style sheet, or you can use this style sheet directly. You can you can add your own type of caption cell into the style sheet. So after creating a new type of cell, such as my figure caption cell, you can copy this to your style sheet. You can edit all the options and other things according to your need, and you can assign a shortcut like we did before, such as Alt I or etc. So that this type of cells are invoked according to your need. You can also make use of flag cell in order to show certain images into the notebook. So here is an example how I have used framed as a cell label for this with the help of flag cell in order to show this image. Whenever the images are shown, it is good to format these images and keep these images centrally as well, like we did with our manipulate cell. So here is an example how my this graphics looks like before formatting, and here is an example how my graphics looks like after formatting. We can make use of align and hide brackets in the manipulate formatting palette, like I showed earlier for manipulate cells, to format graphics as well. to give it to give this images or graphics a better appearance, you can use a rounded frame, something like this. You can you can make use of frame with a certain rounding radius to wrap these images or graphics. It is always good to make sure that we hide certain cell brackets and all things. You would see that these output cells do not have any brackets and all. Similar to images, you can make sure your tables or grids, the output that you are showing, that you are using to show data, are also nicely formatted. You can make use of resource functions such as pretty grid or the nice grid. Here is how my output looks before and after formatting. So I have similar to images and manipulate, I have used align and hide bracket functions to format this to centrally align to deploy my output cell. So here is a difference between these two outputs. Similar to images, you can caption your table as well. You can refer those tables to your relevant sections or your relevant part in the notebook. So journal article style sheet again has similar cell style for table and table captions. Similarly, similar to images, you can edit your style sheet for a particular table type insertion, and you can always use a flat cell in order to show tables in the notebook to give them a captions. Now let's move ahead with the next section, document organization. So in this section we'll see how we can organize our content in the notebook, how we can make use of functionalities such as table of contents, how we can group our cells to make it to assist our user, how we can save and to make sure that our notebooks are savable and editable, we can make use of those options and etc. So let's start with a table of contents. So for the notebooks you can create a table of contents. So for that you can use author tools package. Here's an example here's an example notebooks created with a table of content created with the authors tools package. So here you can see that I have certain sections in these notebooks, certain subsections for each section, a chapter and all etc. And author tools packages has created a table of contents for me. If you want to make sure that if you click on a certain content heading in the table of contents and you want to go to that particular section, you can make use of create table of contents. So create table of contents can be created with the help of this function, create table of contents. Here is an example. Similarly, I have certain sections and subsection in this notebook as well, and as I click on a certain sections in certain heading in my table of content, it would take me to that particular section. Similarly, I can go to a subsection as well. Table of contents comes with certain options such as modifying appearance of these cell styles, skipping certain sections in case of any if you don't want any numbering for these sections, etc. You can also make use of a notebook outline menu resource function. With this you can create a pop-up menu like a table of contents. So here as you can see, it will create a pop-up menu, and from that pop-up menu you can select a particular section. Notebook outline menu is a resource function, is available in function repository. And also Wolfram Workbench provides tool for creating a grid like table of contents. So here is an image showing an example how table of contents will look like with the help of workbench. If you are showing any similar type of contents in the notebook, it is always good to group certain contents. So in this example I have certain this is a similar example we saw where in this we have grouped a certain contents according to the sections. So for the presentation notebook, it is always good to group certain things if they are similar in contents. If you have a dissimilar content, then you can make use of create tab notebook. Here is an example. Here you can see that I have different plots in different tabs, and as I switch to tabs, the content is replaced. You can make a notebook like this with the help of create tab notebook. If you want to give a nicer appearance to your notebook presentation, you can always make sure you can always close the previous notebook and make it look like the next notebook is appearing. So here's an example. So as I hit on notebook 2 tab, you'll see that my notebook 1 is closed and my new notebook 2 is open. Similarly, if I go to notebook 3 tab, the way we are doing is we are setting window size and window margins for the new notebook that is open, same as the previous notebook. If we are if you have a presentation which depends on certain files and folders and it is not a standalone notebook, then it is good to show the relevant files with the help of links into the notebooks directly by creating hyperlinks and not telling to the user that they're giving an absolute path. In order to do that, you can make use of file name join function. So you can have your base directory and have all the files in the supporting files directory. So here is an example how my file path is hard coded here, or except other than in this notation I'm making use of file name join, so that according to my base directory always select my relevant files. So similarly, you can create hyperlinks for linking any files or directories into your presentation in order to point user towards those. So here's an example we saw of a bitmap stored notebook image earlier, how we can just simply by clicking open that with the help of hyperlink. Similarly, we can link directories as well. My apologies, it's open on the other screen. So here's an example. Let me just bring it up again. So here's an example how we can link directories as well with the help of hyperlink. We can do that with the help of by inserting a hyperlink and pointing to the relevant file, or we can make use of directory hyperlink for creating hyperlink for these files and folders. If you are showing any relevant documentation pages, if you are referring to any relevant documentation pages or functions, it is also good to link those functions. So here example how we have linked the plot function to its web page. Similarly, validated input field is a resource function, we have linked that as well. In order to make sure that you're linking those, you can make in order to link those, you can make use of function hyperlink palette. So function hyperlink palette is useful in creating hyperlink just by selecting text and converting into a hyperlink depending upon if it is a Wolfram language function or function repository, or if it is present in function repository. Function hyperlink palette is available in function repository. In order to refer to any previous slides or any previous sections in the notebook, any figure and etc., you can create hyperlink for those as well by adding a cell tag. Example, here I have added a cell tag for this for referring to the previous slide. As I click on this previous slide, it will refer me to the last slide that we were in. So to do that, what you can do is you can just add a tag for that particular section, and you can make a button with a hyperlink like appearance, and use functionality notebook locate and tag. If you want to use a counter whenever you are referring to certain section, then you can make use of counter box. So the way to do that is we would again use a notebook locate with the tag, but this time we would just edit our label that we will be showing in the hyperlink by adding a counter value from that particular section. So current counter value section tag, this notation will create an appropriate counter number for this this tagged section. To make it to make it easier for the user, you can set different styles for your group opener. So here is an example how you can set inline group opener for your group cells. So inline group opener means that a group opener would be in line with the text, and I can click on this small button and I can open and close the section. And if we set outside a frame group opener, then it will set the group opener outside of the group. So here you can see that here is a small group opener outside of this group, and with that button I can with this group opener I can close and open the sections. If you want to make sure that say a group is closed by clicking anywhere in the cell, then you can set the whole group null to true and group opener to inline. So let me just show. So in this way I can click anywhere on this text and I can close and open my groups. So these options can be set for the whole notebook as well. So here is an example how you can set the options group opener to inline and whole group opener to true or false, depending upon your preference for the whole evaluation notebook. Similar to group opener to closing, if you have any a larger group of cells, then it would be difficult, as user has to travel all the way to the top in order to close this group cell. So to avoid that, we can use an we can insert a group opener at the end of the cell. Here is an example. Here you will see that here is my notebook, and my this particular section is very long. So, and if I have to close, I have to go all the way to the top, or have to choose a bracket from this all multiple sets of brackets. So to avoid that, we can include we can insert a group opener just to group the cells from the bottom. I'll just show it quickly again. To insert that, we can make use of insert cell group opener function. When we are giving presentation, and if we want to make sure that during presentation, after we evaluate a few things and we don't want those things to be saved, we can make our presentation notebooks unsavable. To to do that, we can set options savable to false for the particular notebook, and to make it savable, we can set option savable to true. Here is an example for this savable and non-savable notebook. So this notebook is savable. As I edit this and I try to close the cell, it would show me if you want to save this notebook or not. But if I try to save this unsavable notebook and I edit few things and I try to close the notebook, it will close and it won't show you the message that if you want to save or not, because it is an unsavable notebook. So the advantage of this is you don't make any accidental or inadvertent changes that you don't want. Similar to making notebooks savable and unsavable, you can make notebook non-editable as well. So here is an example of non-editable notebook. As I type few things, I am not able to type. You can do that by setting editable false for the particular notebook. If in order to avoid any collision of the notebook variables with other notebooks, you can set your cell context to that particular notebook with the help of cell context options for the notebook. So here you can see that I have set cell context to notebook for this notebook. So in this way, I would avoid the collision between any similar variables from any similar variables from the other notebook. To avoid an warning such as enable dynamics whenever the notebook is open, you can add the notebook directly to the trusted directories. So you can do that by using append to this trusted directories. So here are some of the trusted directories, and you can add your directory to your trusted directories. When you are giving any presentation, you would like to evaluate certain things, and if there is a lot of output, if there is a lot of outputs in the front end, in case of such as dynamics presentation with the various showing a dynamic content, then a notebook might get slow because of a lot of outputs present. To avoid that, you can delete your output as you are presenting. So you can make use of delete all output functionality. So if you go to cell, you can see that you can delete all output as I go. And if you don't want any output to be deleted during your presentation notebook, such as your manipulate outputs and all, then you can set generated cell option to false for those manipulate notebook. So here you can see that I had already set generated cell false for this manipulate notebooks. So even though I did delete all output, then it did not delete my manipulate output. When during the presentation, as it is slower compared to when you go to cell and delete delete out output, you can always make use of a palette to make sure that you are doing all these things quickly. So delete all output palette would delete all the outputs, similar to going from cell to delete all output. It is available in a function repository. It is a small palette that you can set that you can keep in the corner of your presentation notebook to delete the outputs again and again. When you're showing any paragraphs or any essays or any type of text in the presentation notebook, you can add a delimiter for separating those. So here is an how you can add a certain delimiter. In order to focus on certain points, you can create certain title slides. So here is an example of how a title slides can be created. We can set certain cell frame or cell margin options to emphasize on the major topics or major points in our presentation. Create title slide is a convenient resource function for doing that. If you are doing certain operations during the presentation all over again and again, then you can create a doc cell for such purposes. So here is an example how you can set up your doc cell for a particular notebook. If you are performing certain operations again and again. So example, I add a title here, titles type of cell here. I can add a certain subtitle. I can make it to certain subtitle. I can set a background with the help of this buttons, small buttons from this my doc cell. And certain other functionalities can be added depending upon your need. If you are using certain type of style text cell or any other types of cells, such as we saw earlier a figure caption cell, then you can add those to your style sheet directly, and you can create shortcut for those. So for example, let me just bring it up a style sheet. Here you can see that I have added this type of cell into my style sheet, and it can be invoked with the help of menu command key S. So if I click on Alt S, it creates my new type of text cell. If you want to make sure that you're not applying styling all over again, you can make use of clone style sheet function. So what clone style sheet function will do is it would take an input notebook and an output notebooks, and it would apply a styling from the input notebooks to all the target notebooks. So in this way, what you can do is you can have a particular setup so that you can have your particular style sheet, and you can apply that particular style sheet all over again to all the other notebooks you want to use. Earlier we saw a certain example of palette, such as an iconizer palette or highlighter palette or etc. We can combine all those functionality into a standard palette during presentation. So here is an example how we have combined a certain functionality, such as making it an hyperlink, iconizing, highlighting, align the output cell centrally, such as this type of palettes are convenient to use when you are editing your presentation notebook. This way the things can be done very in a quicker manner. This palette is under development, and it would be available in function repository soon. That brings to the end of my presentation. So today we discussed about tools and best practices for notebook based authoring. We saw how we can modify our input item cells such that we are pointing user towards the important aspects of those and not to the irrelevant or the additional aspects. How we can format our manipulate tables and images cells so that in order to give them a better appearance, how we can make use of table of contents and other things for better user assistant. And we also saw some general tips and tricks, uh, general tips or tricks during presentation, such as deleting outputs or sharing style sheet from one notebook to other, that can save us a lot of time and efforts.
The methods for linking to another notebook, as far as I know, involves use of functions such as hyperlink or notebook locate. So notebook locate accepts a tag using which we can go to that particular cell. And of course, like in hyperlink also, we can use a tag or a notebook. So, I mean, without creating a link, I can't think of having a temporary sort of link that won't be stored in the notebook, but will still take us to the source notebook. So yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, sorry. But feel free to send this question to support@wolfram.com so someone can investigate it further and maybe get an answer for you. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, so that also uses a link, right? I'm going to the symbol documentation page. Oh, okay, like you mean the shortcut? Okay, let me unmute you. Maybe I'll have to unmute you. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi.
Okay. Um, yeah, so like I said, that's all I really want to do. It's just like it's the same kind of thing. You go to the documentation, you can go to the documentation. I can do a I can, I don't remember, you click it, I do a Command Shift F, or you get the you get the pop-up which lets me select either the usage or go to the definition. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So I would just like to be able to say, okay, I've got the symbol selected in my notebook, and I want to go to its definition. I know, the symbol is there. If I can access the symbol, then I clearly know its full name. So I know the notebook. I can do a find file to find to get the path to the notebook, and then I should be able to go to that notebook and to the tag in the notebook. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of a straightforward way for doing that. I mean, a convoluted way would involve, let us say, okay, we have the function name, and let us say, yeah, we know the cell, that particular cell tag and the notebook. So we
Right.
have to write a function, let us say, given that function name, it would open that particular notebook and go to that particular cell. And it has to be done, let us say, through a keyboard shortcut, right? So the keyboard like some custom keyboard shortcut can be added to Mathematica using there is a text file known as key event translations.tr. So feel free to search about it in MSc and yeah, some community and so on.
Okay.
So basically using that, we can add a shortcut, a custom shortcut, doing a particular function for us. And so that function would involve opening that notebook and going to that particular cell.
So
So
it also requires being able to get, to not just get the text, but get the actual symbol, so that I can get the full symbol name, that's under the cursor.
so yeah, I mean, that function would do that. So basically what it can do is that it can select that particular word. So there is we have this selection move function, And using that, we can select the particular word in which the cursor is lying. So it would select that particular word, read it, and then use notebook locate and so on to go to that particular notebook and the cell.
Okay, but so you said, but you said it reads the word, but does it actually recognize it in so it needs to be recognized in context so that I can get the symbol name. So it has to be more than just the textual name of the symbol. It has to be the actual symbol so that I can get the full symbol name, including its package.